These sessions are based on the book The Messiah Codes Unsealed.
Hello, this is Luis once more. Welcome to the Messiah Codes. Today we're going to go over session 37, putting together the end times puzzle, part 4. In this session, we step into the heart of the prophetic timeline, unlocking the hidden patterns in the 40-year cycle between the dedication of the Third Temple and the Second Coming of Jesus. Are these astonishing mathematical symmetries mere coincidences? Or are they God's divine fingerprint woven into history and the future? From the Harpazo to the rise of the Antichrist, and from Daniel's mysterious 1260 days to the climatic Shemini Atzeret, the puzzle is coming together with breathtaking precision. Our job is to faithfully and fearfully search out, in the fear of the Lord, the matters that the Lord has concealed in His Word. We learn how the Lord uses patterns to guide us as we study prophecy and end-time events. The proposition is that the Lord gave, through the Jewish festivals and appointed days, the exact dates and the sequence of prophetic events from the birth of Jesus the Messiah to the establishment of the millennial kingdom. In sessions 8, 9, 10, and 11, we learned that the desolations of Jerusalem is the absence of the temple in Jerusalem. We saw how Genesis 6:3, Leviticus 26, and Ezekiel 4:6 revealed that the third temple will be dedicated in the year 2030. And we get confirmation from Jesus' death on AD 30, the year AD 30, to the dedication of the third temple 2,000 years later in the year 2030. As we studied in sessions 12, 13, and 14, that is the last 2,000-year section of the 6,000-year period when the Father contends with man, from the fall and banishment of Adam and Eve to earth, to the dedication of the third temple and the beginning of the last generation. What follows is a proposed chronology for the last 40-year cycle, from the dedication of the third temple to the second coming of Messiah. We will begin at the end, at the second coming, and calculate the events coming back to the dedication of the third temple. We established through these studies that the last day that can be calculated in the festival's calendar is Shemini Atzeret, the celebration of the 8th day on Tishri 22 of the year 2070, which is either on the evening of Sunday, October 6, or the daytime of Monday, October 7, 2069, Jerusalem time. Remember that for all these prophecies we are using the Gregorian year, like in this case the year 2070, so we have a clear idea of the time frame of events relative to our current date. But we're using the structure of the Jewish year, which goes from September to September. So the year 2070 goes from September of 2069 to September of 2070. The first calculation is the reign of the Antichrist on earth. It is supposed to be 7 prophetic years, years of 360 days each, or 1,260 days twice. Those 1,260 days are the times, and half time, or the 3.5 years prophesied by Daniel from the Abomination of Desolation right in the middle of the Antichrist reign to Jesus' second coming. If we go back 1,260 days from the second coming to the exact middle of the 7-year reign of the Antichrist, we find that the Abomination of Desolation, the profane sacrifice that the Antichrist will perform in the temple, will be perpetrated on Iyyar 1, 2066. That is, on Sunday, April 25, after sunset, or Monday, April 26, before sunset of the year 2066 in our Gregorian calendar. By the way, for the Abomination of Desolation to be perpetrated in the temple, obviously a physical temple must exist. Then, if we go back another 1,260 days, we get to the date when the Antichrist confirms or strengthens a covenant, likely a peace treaty between some nations involved in an attack or an invasion, or both, against Israel and Israel. in my opinion, so take this with a grain of salt, this treaty is likely related to an attack perpetrated against Israel between September of 2027 and September of 2028 on or around the Golan Heights. This attack will be the catalyst that will allow for a space on the Temple Mount to be opened for the construction of the Third Temple. This will be through an invitation of the Sunni nations. I will post a full scenario analysis on that issue in a soon-to-come series. The strengthenings or expansion of the treaty that will initiate the 7-year reign of the Antichrist will occur on Sheshvan 10, 2062. That is, on the evening of Sunday, November 12, or the daytime of Monday, November 13, 2062. By the way, all these dates are falling in Sunday, Monday days. Then we go back 19 years and 22 days from the Second Coming and get to the Shabbaton of Tishri 1, 2050. That is the Festival of Trumpets, which, as we studied in session 28 and 29, represent the end of the era of the church on the earth with the Harpazo, the Rapture. That will be either on the evening of Friday, September 16, or the daytime of Saturday, September 17, 2050. But we will not know the day if we don't know the hour, right? So in 2050, the Festival of Trumpets falls also on a Sabbath. So it's a Shabbaton and a Sabbath, right? Why are we going back 19 years and 22 days? Because of the 19-year cycle for the destruction and formation of kingdoms, as we previously studied. There are two 19-year cycles for the destruction of kingdoms, as both the destruction of Israel's northern kingdom and the destruction of Jerusalem took 19 years from beginning to end. Then there are two 19-year cycles for the formation of kingdoms. First was the cycle for the formation of the modern state of Israel, which began with the declaration of the creation of Israel in May 14, 1948, and ended with the offensive of Jerusalem in June 5, 1967. That's 19 years and 22 days. So those 19 years and 22 days are the pattern that the Lord gave us to confirm the calculation for the last 19-year cycle. The last kingdom, of course, is the millennial kingdom, which happens to begin exactly on the Festival of Trumpets at the Harpazo and ends exactly on Shemini Atzeret at the Second Coming. Both of them are 19 years and 22 days. Until when all these days will stop being exact coincidences and become God's design? Soon, we will know if the Messiah Code's model is as accurate with prophecy yet to be fulfilled as it has been with prophecy already fulfilled. The dedication of the Third Temple in 2030 will be our test either way. Finally, we go back 40 years minus 22 days from the Second Coming, and that gets us to the third day of Adar I on the year 2030, to the dedication of the Third Temple. By the way, the Second Temple was also dedicated on the third day of Adar, but on the year 516 BC. The 40-year pattern was established on the first coming of Messiah, from the death of Jesus on Passover Nisan 14 of the year AD 30 to the destruction of the Second Temple on Av 9 of the year AD 70, that is 40 years plus 22 days. That is exactly, numerically and sequentially, the symmetry of the periods from the dedication of the Third Temple to the Second Coming, which will be 40 years minus 22 days from beginning to end. Is this perfect synchronicity and sequence of events and dates again just coincidences? Really? The puzzle pieces are almost complete. God has concealed these mysteries for millennia, but now they are being revealed to those willing to seek and listen.
As we read about the end times in Daniel chapter 12, verses 8 and 9, Daniel says, "Although I heard, I did not understand. Then I said, My Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified, made white, and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
In the next session, we'll unlock the secret of Daniel 12 about the 1290 and the 1335 days, and the identity of the 144,000 sealed ones. Until then, stay watchful, stay ready, and remember Proverbs 25:2. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, to search out a matter. It's the glory of kings. See you in the next session.